little break. I'd like to turn over to Dr. Villanueva. Actually, before I turn over to Dr. Villanueva, I just wanted to recap real quick. So one of the things I love to say is our paras, our teachers, are where the rubber meets the road. Just every day, the influence on our children, the support of our children, the support of our administrators. I'll speak, I think, on behalf of the entire board that, nights like this are the most exciting for me because seeing the people of our district being celebrated day in and for what they do day in and day out, the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into it, we cannot say thank you enough. But thank you very much for all that you do every day. With that said, I will turn it over to Dr. V for her superintendent's recommendations and report.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Well, I hope that everybody had a fabulous Thanksgiving weekend. It's always lovely to have 4 full days because you can kind of recover after eating a lot of food. So welcome back. Just before the Thanksgiving holiday hit, we also did another food bag giveaway. Wonderful. We had over 110 bags given out, and so thank you to Ms. Doring and her food service department for putting those together, and to Dr. Murtica and to Mr. Bellardi, and I think Michael was there as well for handing everything out, and we even had some student volunteers who came in to give some civic hours, so that was wonderful. Also, Thanksgiving football, and I think, Lisa, did we win?
Yes.
We
Yes,
did. We
we
won.
did.
All right. So we were there. It was a gorgeous day. And, not that this will count, I just have to mention it. Papa was giving out bacon and cheese sandwiches instead of hot dogs and hamburgers.
It was the Knights.
Oh,
Like
it was
the Knights.
Knights.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So it was wonderful. They were at the grill, and it was just a great game, and we won against Torrington. So kudos to our football team. And that is my update.
Fantastic. Any board members have any questions or comments for Dr. B? Fantastic. All right, moving on to public participation. In accordance with Policy 9050, public participants must state their name and address for the record and limit statements to 3 minutes. The board encourages speakers not to express defamatory comments about Watertown Board of Education personnel or any other persons associated with Watertown Public School System. Are there any members of the public that wish to address the board? Any members of the public wishing to address the board? Seeing none. All right, moving on. Items of discussion. We'll start with the 2023-24 building budget presentation debriefs.
All right, wonderful. So we have our administrative team still here this evening to provide any additional detail. Tonight in our Board of Education Budget and Finance Subcommittee meeting, we had a presentation from each one of our building administrative teams about the kind of focused areas in which they're looking to have their budget requests come in this year. As I mentioned before in our subcommittee meeting, it's the feedback that we took from years previous that it was very informative for the board to hear straight from our administrators who are on the ground each day, and they know really the temperature of their buildings and what those needs are. We were kind of categorized in areas of personnel as well as program growth, as well as in terms of materials. We had some running themes around restoration of certain types of positions that may have been cut in the past, as well as some budget reduction that have happened in years previous, as soon as last year. And then we also discussed kind of future plans of where we are headed as schools here. So with that being said, to our board, I know you haven't had a whole lot of time. If you have some questions and such, we can certainly ask them today, and we can have our board administrative team come on out to, not board, sorry, our district administrative team members come on up and give some answers. Otherwise, we can also, of course, take notes and ask in our next regular scheduled Board of Education meeting.
Do any board members have any questions or comments for either Dr. V or any of our building administrators who are still present? I just want to thank everybody again for all the hard work that goes into the budget process. I know it's grueling, but I do want to recap some of the notes that I took. And regretfully, it's probably the same thing I've been saying for the last 7 years, is that the needs are the areas that directly impact our students. It's teachers, it's social workers, it's staples, we're not asking for fluff. We're not asking for beanbag chairs for stuff, right? We need things to help provide the level of support that this generation of kids need as we see year-over-year increases in special education needs, mental health needs, social emotional learning needs. It takes more time to help more children, and the best way to do that is to have the right staffing to do that. I think as a board, we know that when there's a lower student to teacher or para ratio, the time can be spent with individual kids identifying the needs, walking them through those math problems, right? All of those things that gives them an extra lift to succeed. And so, I look forward to future budget presentations. I look forward to learning more about your buildings and your classes so that we can take those talking points and bring those to our town council, that we can bring it to our public and continue to enlighten them on, all the good that you're doing with what you've got, but what the challenges are and what we need to try and overcome and bridge some of those challenges. So thank you very much again, and we're looking forward to continuing the budget process.
Thank you. So speaking of process, just to sum up, we will be distilling as we move forward. So tonight's presentation will be made available right on our direct website splash page in a little while. And then as we move forward, you will hear from district administration, from the larger departmental teams, and then you'll hear again from our kind of self-sustaining groups like our food service department. And then you will eventually get to the time where we are the superintendent's proposed budget. And at that point, there will be lots of distilling and adjustment to present something forward to the Board of Education. But it's wonderful to have everybody part of the process.
If I may, can you email out the presentation? I don't think it was not in the packet. And so I'd like to make sure board members have a chance to go back and digest that in preparation for next presentations, next discussions, next considerations, things like that.
You got it.
Great.
Thank you.
HVAC grant update.
All right, so this one here, just wanted to give everybody an update. We are closing in on the deadline, which is December 1st, which is this Thursday. And tomorrow there is a special meeting being held by our town council. I'd like to thank town manager Mark Raymond, as well as the town council chair Jonathan Ramsey and Lisa Catania, who helped put the special meeting on the books for tomorrow night at 7. Basically, as you remember when I was talking about the HVAC grant when it first came out, there was a long laundry list of items that we needed to submit in order to even be eligible for the grant. One of those items is, are 3 resolutions that need to be passed by the town council. And in your packet, you not only have the agenda for tomorrow night, but you also have the actual proposed resolution. So it's basically having the municipal group, which is our town council, give authority to the Board of Education to go ahead and even apply for the grant for specific schools and for the HVAC project. In addition to that, it also gives us the opportunity the authorization to prepare schematic line drawings, which there is a cost associated with that as we go through an engineering firm. So if the town council gives those 3 resolutions that pass tomorrow night, then I will have a signed copy that I can upload into the system, and then on December 1st we will be able to officially submit and say that we are good to go. So that long laundry list of things that we had to submit, slowly we ticked off to everyone. We're almost there. So it gives me a good hope, though, too, because it was so arduous to get the application together. I don't know how many districts will have all pieces in place. So I hope that we are in a competitive position here to be able to get a little slice of the HVAC IAQ grant pie. That was it.
Okay, thank you. Do any board members have any questions for Dr. Reese? Refresh my memory. How much is do you recall the financial potential for the grant?
Yes.
Or
so
in the details?
The entire grant by the governor is $150 million. However, that is open to all 169 districts in the state of Connecticut. Our capital improvement is what has to allow for this grant to go forward. So the 3 schools that we were putting forward was John Trumbull
communications?
No communications came in this time.
Thank you. All right, committee reports. Back over to you, Mrs. Hoskins.
No report from curriculum and instruction.
Mr. Malaguti, policy and labor.
No report at this time.
Thank you very much. Facilities, PBC operations, Mr. Gavalas.
No report.
Thank you. Governance and community engagement, Ms. Palumbo.
None at this time.
All right, and budget and finance. We had the first presentation from our building administrators, which is great insight and information to kick off the budget process. So we're looking forward to continuing those discussions, both in general Board of Ed meetings, as well as through budget and finance and with town council over the next couple of months. All right, report from the board chair. I have nothing else, nothing really to report. However, last meeting, I shared some sad news that we lost a staff member, Willie Wills, who was a custodian in our district. Always willing to help, great smile. It's such a tragic loss. They have calling hours scheduled for December 2nd at 5 p.m., ending at 7 p.m. at Hickok's Funeral Home at 195 Main Street here in town. The funeral service will follow at 7 p.m. at Hickok's Funeral Home as well. So I wanted to get that information out to our community. We have no items to be approved or consent. Future agenda items, board member comments.
Yeah, through the chair.
Yes,
I would just like to see if we can get it added maybe to the curriculum and instruction. My previous concern about the books that were donated, well, the subscriptions to the books that were donated from Heroes of Liberty, I would rather get that on sooner than later. I know Dr. Villanueva is going to bring that up at her next meeting, which sounds like it's maybe January, but I'd hate to get a subscription.
So we typically don't respond, but I'm going to during board member comments. But we are going to try and get it on the December meeting.
Okay.
There is a conflict because of an event at Swift, so there might be a number of board members not here. So we're going to look at what the agenda looks like and consider moving the meeting a day if we can do that. If we can do that, then it will definitely be in December. I just said to Dr. V, we need to get this done as soon as possible.
Sure.
So because there's only one meeting in December,
Right.
if we can't get it done, if we can't get it done then, it will be on the first agenda for January.
Sure. Because I just, especially with the need of books in the library, I would hate for us to take on this gift and, it's a generous gift of money toward books. But if we decided...
It's broader
but if
policy consideration.
Right, but
this board
it's
needs
something
to
that we
consider.
decided we're not going to allow, then, I'd love for that to go to more books in a different way that we felt were appropriate. Because like I said, it's not necessarily it's not just the concerns of the material in the books, whether or not, I feel like we have to look at that, whether it's biased or not. There are reports from other districts that have refused these books in their district. Like I said, the bigger concern is the messaging with the company that they display on their website and their promotional videos. Their values just don't seem to align with what we as a board or district should be accepting. They push ideas that parents can't trust our schools, our educators, or the resources that we provide them with. They quote say, our children's souls are in danger. Quote, the kids are being virtually brainwashed. Parents need to, quote, wake up to the danger education system is having on their kids. They also attack Scholastic Press Publishing, which is a company that we use for our children, stating that they're devious ways to infiltrate our houses and promote anti-Americanism, quote. Saying they need to protect your kids from the school's brainwashing, quote. So obviously, they're sending a message that parents can't trust our schools, our teachers, with our children. And this is in no way supports our teachers, our educators, our district, and the work that they do on a daily basis. And they put all their energy and effort into doing actually the exact opposite. And so my concern is if anybody was to search up this group that we have a subscription from, it sends a very negative message as to what we're supporting as a district. And it's very concerning messages. If you go to their website and read their blogs or to their YouTube channel and watch their promotional videos. Those quotes you will find in those videos and messaging. So,
Okay, thank you. Do any of the board members have any comments, future agenda items?
I have a comment, a suggestion and a comment. The first item, I know growing up here in town, even when we had the Indian mascot, I know there's a push now to pursue and more education in the community, which I think is great, because I know that a lot growing up here was kind of, if you didn't really look for it, it wasn't really there. I appreciate that our kids are getting to go to the Institute of American Indian Studies. I've enjoyed it with my children several times, and my third grader got to go. I did notice my oldest, who's now at college, is at a university who also had a mascot change, and they do something that I noticed recently that I thought was nice, that I wanted to just suggest to the board as a consideration for more community education for those like me who maybe grew up here but admittedly could benefit from just kind of more knowledge and exposure. They do a land acknowledgement statement on their programs for different events that are offered there. And I wanted to just read it quickly just so we're aware, and if we consider it at some point to add to anything that we do here, I think it's a really nice addition. Their land acknowledgement statement reads, "In recognition of truth, history, and the enduring relationship between indigenous peoples and their sacred lands, we acknowledge that Western Connecticut is the traditional homeland of the Scotticook, Wheatenock, and other Native peoples. The WCSU community seeks to foster greater knowledge of Connecticut's tribal nations, other indigenous residents, and those forcibly removed." So just in that sentiment, I noticed that, I know we're pursuing further Native American education. It might be a nice opportunity to extend that beyond just what we're doing for our students as well. And then my other comment, I just wanted to reiterate, I noticed in the Town Times this week, they noted that we accepted the subscription that Kathy had mentioned, and I just wanted to kind of reiterate on the record also, while I appreciate, a breadth of reading materials available to the children, and I trust our educators to make sure that we're providing resources that are appropriate for them, I do take issue with standing behind something that makes it its mission statement to making accusatory statements towards our educators. That's really more the concern that I take moving forward in consideration of that gift. Well, again, I think that's a generous donation. As we know, we've heard tonight that our schools are in desperate need of library supplies. I do take concern with supporting as a board the message that we need to have a subscription to counter what our educators might be doing. So I'm glad that we're going to further address that, but just wanted to make sure I reiterated that on the record.
Any other board members?
Yes. I would like to say a few words about the donation of the books. It was brought up at the last board meeting that it was the impression that these books are anti-woke. I honestly never thought I'd hear the words that a book about Clara Barton was anti-woke, but here we are. Last year, members of the public spoke regarding books that had homosexual content that are in our schools. And members of the public were very upset knowing that this was in there. The following board meeting after that, the board had to make a statement about it, and also pins were given out, pride pins were given out to board members to wear at that meeting. What some people see as acceptable reading materials, others may not. Some may agree that Clara Barton is anti-woke, some may not. This is a very slippery slope of book banning that we're discussing here, and we need to take this with caution and be very mindful of who is making these decisions, why these decisions are being made, what is the criteria, and what is the basis. I just wanted to.
Thank you. Any other board members have any comments? Okay. Seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? Second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Meeting adjourned. Time is 8:02 p.m.
Liz, can I take a picture of that, what you read?
Yeah.
Thanks. Make sure I get it in.